Hello and good day. Today we'll be discussing about workplace hazards in factories. Our team consists of 4 people who each describe about common hazard workplace that would usually occur. We will be discussing about the types of hazard, risk assessments, and preventive measures. But first, we need to understand what are the common hazards that exist. It consists of 6 types: physical, safety, biological, ergonomics, chemical, and psychosocial hazards. For my part, I'll be discussing about the biological hazard. In a typical factory setting, mass crowd gathering among workers is a common thing, usually in a poor ventilation system, in a confined space with uncommon sanitation schedule. However, with COVID hits, factory workers should be aware of the situation that it might cause potential clusters, absenteeism, and the potential sickness causing death. Hazard prevention could be taken by engineering control and administration control by wearing masks as a strict regulation, practice social distancing among workers, and develop policies and standard operating procedures to prevent further biological hazards from.
Now, I will explain about safety hazard. What is safety hazard? Safety hazard is a common hazard and will present in most workplaces at one time or another. It is unsafe working conditions that can cause injury, illness, and even death. These are some of the examples of hazards related to safety hazard. The first one is space on floor. Secondly, electrical hazard, like missing ground pins and improper wiring. Furthermore, object lying on floor, unsupervised machine, and uncovered hole are the other example of safety hazard. Moving on, these are the risk assessment for safety hazard. Contractors may suffer injuries if they slip on spill edge or trip over objects and fall. Workers also may lose their fingers, arms, and or hands if they get injury from unguarded moving parts. Lastly, the hazard prevention. There must be a scheduled cleaning routine. Health and safety officer must be hired for every company to ensure all hazards in the workplace identified. Every people should comply with all rules provided and wear PPE at all times.
Physical hazard is an environmental factor that can harm employees without touching or seeing them. Here are some examples of physical hazard: heat, loud noise, and continuously vibration. It will cause loss of hearing, burns, and vibration disease such as musculoskeletal disorders. We can prevent it by wearing PPE such as ear plug and ear muff from being loud noise, and wearing gloves from being burned, and isolating vibration source.
Hi, my name is Intan Shafiqa binti Muhammad Zulkifli. Some examples of ergonomic hazards can be seen from the picture shown. This situation happens especially in manufacturing or factory industry, where some of the work requires manual materials handling such as pushing heavy cart, lifting heavy loads, and many more. With such wrong technique, they usually relieve strain to their whole body muscles. From the previous example, there will be several bad impacts that will affect the workers. One of them is it can cause muscle strain when an individual exerts more energy out of their body due to a poorly designed equipment or desk setup, which will lead to a poor posture. Furthermore, biochemical stress can happen due to the heavy workload in a long working hour, which can be harmful physically and emotionally. Lastly, ergonomic hazards can lead to fatigue, which usually causes by the intense physical activity that may require any awkward or forced movements. There are many steps that can be done to prevent ergonomic hazards from happening in the workplace. Firstly, we can start from the development of machinery equipment, where we will be using cart or automated guided vehicles instead of manually lifting and carrying heavy loads. Other than that, employers are responsible to prepare ergonomic training in order for the workers to start practicing the right technique for every activity. For example, lifting, which requires bending knees and hips. Last but not least, it is very crucial to implement adequate staffing in order to ensure that no employee is doing extra work beyond their ability and also to serve a smooth workflow.